Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really fascinating cultivator's journey, turning a single lavender plant into a lush, incredibly fragrant garden. If you've ever wanted to multiply your favorite plants without dropping a small fortune at the nursery, well, you're in the exact right place. Did you know you can grow your own lush lavender garden with just a few simple cuttings? Stay tuned as we unveil the secrets of easy and successful lavender propagation. We're going to break the whole process down, step by step. We're taking the mystery out of it and making it, well, totally foolproof. Okay, let's dive into this. We're going to start with the essential tools and materials, move on to selecting the absolute best cuttings, talk about how to prepare them, go over planting and care, troubleshoot some common problems you might run into, and finally, lay out the timeline and what you can really expect. Section 1. Essential tools and materials, setting up for propagation success. Okay, having the right, completely sterile tools ready to go, that is literally half the battle when it comes to cloning plants. Our gear list is pretty simple, but it's very specific. First, you absolutely need sharp, sterilized scissors or pruning shears. This is crucial to prevent fungal diseases from ruining things right at the initial snip. You'll also want some small plastic pots, around 3.5 to 4.5 inches. Using small pots is actually a fantastic pro tip because it prevents the soil from holding on to too much moisture. And let me tell you, lavender absolutely hates sitting in wet soil. Grab a well-draining, sterile, sandy soil or vermiculite mix, your rooting hormone of choice, and a little container of water. Now, what's really interesting here is comparing commercial rooting hormones with DIY alternatives. You can absolutely use commercial synthetic powders, like the ones with IBA, to jumpstart root growth. But, you can also go completely natural. Our sources found that DIY willow water is an unbelievable substitute. It boasts a massive 68 to 82% success rate with softwood cuttings. Isn't that wild? Even just a diluted honey dip or a quick sprinkle of cinnamon can act as a really fantastic natural antifungal barrier. Section 2. Selecting the best cuttings. Finding the perfect stem for cloning. Remember, the cuttings you take are exact genetic clones of the parent plant. So choosing a healthy, really vigorous stock plant is absolutely crucial for this to work. You basically have two main options here. First, there are softwood cuttings. These are taken in the late spring or early summer from fresh, pliable green growth, and they root incredibly fast. On the flip side, we have hardwood cuttings. You take these in the late fall when the plant is dormant, and the stems are nice and woody. Now, hardwood takes a lot longer to root, but it actually yields a much hardier, tougher plant. For beginners, though, softwood is definitely the easiest and most successful route to take. So what exactly are we looking for when we walk up to that parent plant? First off, locate a non-flowering shoot. You really don't want the plant wasting its energy on blooms. You want it focusing 100% on growing roots. Ensure the stem has a healthy, vibrant green color, and pick one that's about 2 to 6 inches long, depending on your variety. You're looking for straight growth that has at least 2 leaf nodes. Nodes are just those little bumps on the stem where the leaves pop out. Oh, and here's a massive tip. Take your cuttings in the morning. That's when the parent plant is fully hydrated and nice and plump. Section 3. Preparing the cuttings, trimming and treating for rapid root growth. So snapping the stems off the plant is really just step 1. The physical preparation is where the magic really starts to happen. Let's walk through the exact mechanics. Step 1. Grab those sterilized shears and make a clean, horizontal cut just below a leaf node. That node is an active growth center, and roots just love to form right there. Step 2, gently peel or strip the leaves off the bottom 1 to 2 inches of the stem. You do not want any leaves buried under the soil. If they are, they'll instantly rot. And step 3, very lightly score the bottom of the stem with a knife. You're just gently opening up the wood here. It encourages callus tissue to form and really speeds up root development. For the final prep phase, you're going to dip that freshly stripped stem into a little bit of water. Actually, even better, some farms use a warm honey tea. Honey has these amazing natural antimicrobial properties, so it creates this wonderful disease-resistant surface. Then take the bottom inch of the stem and dip it right into your rooting hormone powder. Give it a gentle tap just to knock off any excess powder. You definitely don't want to overwhelm the little guy. Section 4. Planting and caring for cuttings, creating the ideal rooting environment. All right, so lavender requires a really specific, kind of delicate balance of moisture, drainage, and warmth to thrive at this stage. First, insert the cutting into your sterile sandy soil mix. But wait, make sure you insert it near the inside edge of the pot. You might be wondering, why the edge? Well, soil that's touching the pot's wall gets slightly better air circulation. It's an absolute game changer for preventing stem rot. Next, just gently firm the soil around the stem so it stands upright. And finally, if you have one, place the pot on a seedling heating mat set to around 70 degrees Fahrenheit. That gentle warmth from the bottom really stimulates robust root growth.
Okay, please pay very close attention to this next point. Avoid fully closed plastic domes. I can't stress this enough. It's literally the #1 mistake beginners make. Fuzzy-leaved plants like lavender will rot so incredibly fast in 100% humidity. If you do decide to use a plastic bag to hold in a little moisture, you absolutely must keep it open to allow for plenty of airflow. Whatever you do, do not suffocate your cuttings.
Section 5. Troubleshooting common problems, protecting your new plants from pests and rot. Now, generally speaking, lavender is famously tough, but when you're propagating, jumping on issues quickly is the key to saving your tiny new crop. Let's talk about the absolute biggest threat, root rot. This is a fatal disease caused by waterlogged soils and fungal pathogens like Phytophthora. You'll know you have it if you see mushy, black roots and a terribly wilted plant. The best way to prevent this? Never, ever let your cuttings sit in heavy, soggy soil. Always let the very top layer of your soil or vermiculite dry out just a little bit between waterings. Next up is botrytis. This is a gray, fuzzy fungal disease that spreads super rapidly upward from the base of the plant. And it's triggered by, you guessed it, high humidity and poor airflow. So the crucial point here is to avoid overhead watering whenever you possibly can. Water the soil directly and make sure your pots are spaced out properly so this fuzzy fungus doesn't take hold and completely ruin your future vibrant purple blooms. While diseases are definitely the main threat, bugs can sometimes pop up too. So let's look at some common pests and how easily you can treat them completely organically. For aphids, those tiny little green bugs, a simple blast of water or a quick neem oil solution works wonders. If you notice this weird white foam on your stems, that's spittlebugs. A homemade garlic pepper spray handles them perfectly. And for whiteflies that like to cluster underneath the leaves, again, neem oil is just a fantastic natural defense. You really don't need any harsh chemicals to protect these plants. Section 6. Timeline and expectations, from cutting to productive harvest. Let's move to the timeline and see how this all builds, because it's so important to set realistic expectations for this journey. Nature takes its time, and patience is for sure a virtue here. In week 1, you're just taking and prepping your cuttings. Over weeks 4 through 8, the roots slowly develop. You can actually give the stems a very, very gentle tug to check for resistance. By the following spring, you'll be hardening off the plants, which just means you're slowly introducing them to the outdoor sunshine and breeze. And then comes the true test of patience. It's actually going to take about 3 to 4 years in the ground for these plants to reach their peak productive harvest. I absolutely love this quote from our sources at the Farm Journal, talking about Los Poblanos farm. It will take 3 to 4 years for them to become productive for harvesting, and this labor of love is a seasonal ritual that traces the ebb and flow of life on the farm. It's so beautiful, right? It perfectly reinforces that propagating plants isn't just some overnight magic trick. It's a deeply rewarding, long-term investment in your garden's future. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a quick question to think about. Which variety of lavender will you multiply first to fill your garden with that unforgettable, sweet fragrance? Whether it's English, French, or Spanish lavender, I highly encourage you to get out there and start snipping your own cuttings this weekend. Let's get growing. Before we go, please note, this explainer is for informational purposes only. While we strive to provide accurate and up-to-date information, always seek advice from a professional horticulturalist or gardening expert when dealing with plant propagation. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey today. Keep learning, keep planting, and I will see you on the next explainer.